Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something incredibly powerful that each of us faces at some point in our lives: loneliness. It's not just about being alone, it's about feeling disconnected from the world around us, like we're invisible or irrelevant. But here's the truth: you have the power to change how you experience loneliness. You don't have to wait for someone else to fix it. You can start fixing it yourself right now. First, let's get real for a second. How many of you wake up today feeling like nobody truly understands you? Like your thoughts, your feelings, and your struggles are all locked inside with no way out? Yeah, I've been there too. Loneliness is a feeling that no one likes to admit, but almost everyone experiences at some point. And while it's easy to think of loneliness as just an emotion, it's actually much more than that. Loneliness is a signal that something in your life needs to change. It's like an internal alarm system, letting you know that you're craving connection, fulfillment, or purpose. The problem is that most people see loneliness as a weakness, something to hide or feel ashamed of. But in reality, recognizing loneliness as a signal for change is the first step toward transforming your life. Think about it. When you're hungry, your body signals you to eat. When you're tired, it signals you to rest. Loneliness is no different. It's your mind's way of telling you that you need more meaningful connections or a deeper sense of purpose. But instead of addressing the cause, many of us distract ourselves. We scroll through social media, binge watch shows, or fill our calendars just to avoid being alone with our thoughts. But no amount of distraction will fill the void if you don't acknowledge what that emptiness is truly trying to tell you. When you recognize loneliness as a signal, you empower yourself to take action. Instead of feeling like a victim of your circumstances, you realize that you have the power to create the connections and experiences you're missing. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about taking responsibility for your emotional well-being. Loneliness isn't solved by waiting for someone else to fix it. It's solved by recognizing the need for change and then actively pursuing that change. One of the most powerful ways to respond to loneliness is by seeking meaningful connections. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to be around people just for the sake of company. It means intentionally connecting with those who add value to your life. People who understand you, support you, and encourage your growth. If those people aren't currently in your life, it's okay to seek them out. Join groups, attend events, volunteer, or engage in activities that align with your passions. Building new connections takes effort, but it's worth it when you find people who genuinely resonate with who you are. However, loneliness isn't always about a lack of social interaction. Sometimes it's a sign that you need to reconnect with yourself. Maybe you've lost touch with who you are or what you truly want. In that case, loneliness is urging you to spend time reflecting, rediscovering your passions, and aligning your life with your values. It's about nurturing the relationship you have with yourself, because no external connection can fill the void of internal disconnection. When you learn to see loneliness as a signal for change, it stops being something to fear or avoid. It becomes an opportunity for growth, transformation, and deeper connection. You begin to understand that loneliness isn't here to punish you. It's here to guide you toward the life and relationships you truly desire. Dealing with loneliness starts with one powerful yet often uncomfortable step: getting honest about your feelings. Most people don't like to admit they feel lonely. It feels vulnerable, like you're confessing some kind of weakness. But the truth is, pretending you're okay when you're not only deepens the sense of isolation. If you want to break free from loneliness, you have to get real about how you're feeling. You have to face it head on, without judgment or shame. When you acknowledge your loneliness, you give yourself permission to feel. You stop pushing down the emotions or masking them with distractions. Whether it's endlessly scrolling through social media, drowning yourself in work, or numbing out with entertainment, none of these things truly fix loneliness. They only suppress it. And the more you suppress it, the more it lingers in the background, affecting your mental and emotional well-being. So, the first step is to get honest with yourself. Admit that you're feeling lonely. Write it down. Say it out loud. Share it with someone you trust. Getting honest about your feelings doesn't mean wallowing in self-pity. It means accepting your emotions as they are without labeling them as good or bad. It's okay to feel lonely. It's a human experience. But denying it keeps you stuck. When you're truthful about how you feel, you can start to understand why you feel that way. Maybe you're missing deeper connections, or perhaps you're going through a life transition that's left you feeling isolated. Getting to the root of your loneliness allows you to take meaningful steps toward change. Part of getting honest about your feelings also involves recognizing the stories you're telling yourself. Are you convincing yourself that no one cares? Do you believe that reaching out makes you a burden? These are narratives created by loneliness, and they are often far from the truth. But when you avoid your emotions, these false stories grow stronger. By facing your feelings, you can challenge these narratives and replace them with more empowering truths. Once you've acknowledged your loneliness, it's important to express it in a healthy way. Talk to a trusted friend, family member, or even a therapist. You don't have to go through this alone, and sometimes just verbalizing your emotions lightens the burden. If talking feels too vulnerable right now, try journaling. Write about your experiences, your fears, and your hopes for connection. Putting your feelings into words gives them structure, making them easier to understand and process. Getting honest about your feelings is about embracing your humanity. It's about saying, this is how I feel right now, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you'll feel this way forever, but it does mean you're ready to face it, learn from it, and grow through it. When you allow yourself to truly feel, you pave the way for healing and transformation. You stop running from loneliness and start moving toward a life filled with more connection, understanding, and self-compassion. Challenging negative beliefs is a crucial step in dealing with loneliness. Often, our feelings of isolation are fueled by self-limiting thoughts. Stories we tell ourselves that aren't necessarily true, but feel real because we've repeated them so many times. These narratives can be incredibly damaging because they reinforce the idea that we're alone and unconnected. For instance, if you often think, I'm too shy to make friends, or nobody would want to hang out with me, these thoughts become barriers to forming meaningful connections. But here's the truth. Most of these limits are imaginary. They're just stories you keep telling yourself. Who told you that? And even if someone did, why did you believe them? It's time to rewrite that narrative, to challenge negative beliefs effectively. Identify them. Start by becoming more aware of your thought patterns, especially those related to loneliness or social interactions. For example, pay attention when you catch yourself thinking, I'll never find someone who truly understands me. Recognize this as a limiting belief rather than an absolute truth. Question their validity. Once identified, question each belief by asking yourself, is this really true? Most often, these thoughts are based on past experiences or fears rather than current realities. Instead of accepting, I'm not good enough, ask yourself, what evidence do I have for this belief? Often there's little concrete evidence supporting such claims. Replace them with empowering thoughts. After challenging these beliefs, replace them with empowering ones. Instead of saying, I'm too shy, say, I am capable and deserving of deep connections. This shift in perspective opens up new possibilities for forming relationships. By adopting this mindset shift, you empower yourself against loneliness while cultivating an unshakable belief in your own abilities. Ultimately, challenging negative beliefs means transforming potential energy within you into kinetic energy, driving progress toward realizing personal aspirations. To integrate this habit seamlessly into daily routines, practice mindfulness and gratitude. Combine mindfulness exercises with gratitude practices to enhance emotional well-being and clarity. For instance, starting each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for can set a positive tone that supports resilient thinking. Engage in activities that foster connection. Join clubs or attend events where you might meet like-minded people. This action helps build confidence in social interactions while challenging the idea that you're incapable of forming meaningful relationships. Stay consistent and patient with yourself. Building meaningful relationships takes time and effort. Every morning, set an intention for how you want to feel connected today. And when negative thoughts creep in, catch them before they spiral into self-doubt. By doing so, you join ranks alongside those who have transformed mere struggles into opportunities through sheer determination fueled by clear visions. This approach transforms how you handle challenges. Instead of seeing problems as insurmountable barriers, you begin viewing them as stepping stones toward realizing your vision. Dealing with loneliness isn't just about acknowledging your feelings, it's about taking intentional action toward connection. It's easy to feel trapped in a cycle of isolation, convincing yourself that nobody would understand or that reaching out won't make a difference. But the truth is, loneliness thrives in inaction. The longer you stay disconnected, the deeper the sense of isolation becomes. That's why it's crucial to take steps, even small ones, to reconnect with the world around you. The first step is to recognize that connection doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require grand gestures or perfectly curated social events. It can start with something as simple as sending a text to someone you've lost touch with or striking up a conversation with a colleague. Small interactions matter. They remind you that you're not invisible, that you belong, and that people do care. Don't overthink it. Just take the first step. Reach out, say hello, rebuild the bridges that may have faded over time. Another powerful way to take action toward connection is by engaging in activities that naturally bring people together. This could be joining a local club, attending community events, or volunteering for a cause you care about. When you participate in group activities, you're not just showing up. You're positioning yourself in environments where meaningful connections can happen organically. You don't have to force deep conversations or instant friendships. Simply being present and engaging with others can break down the walls of isolation. If you find it difficult to initiate social interactions, consider leveraging technology to bridge the gap. Virtual communities, social media groups, and online classes offer opportunities to connect with people who share your interests and experiences. While digital interactions don't replace face-to-face connections, they can be a great starting point, especially when you're feeling too overwhelmed to engage in person. The key is to use technology intentionally to connect, not just to consume. It's also important to remember that taking action toward connection isn't just about reaching out to others. It's also about being open to receiving connection. Sometimes loneliness convinces you that you have to do everything alone, that showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness. But true connection happens when you allow yourself to be seen, flaws and all. Be open to invitations, even if your initial instinct is to decline. Say yes to opportunities to socialize, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Let people in. Allow them to support you, even if it's just by listening. A powerful way to deepen connections is by practicing active listening and genuine curiosity. When you engage with others, focus on being present. Put away distractions, maintain eye contact, and listen with the intent to understand, not just to respond. Ask questions that go beyond surface-level conversations. Show a genuine interest in people's lives, their thoughts, and their experiences. When people feel truly heard, it creates a sense of trust and connection that goes beyond mere acquaintance. Finally, remember that taking action toward connection is an ongoing process. It's not a one-time fix. It requires consistency, vulnerability, and courage. There will be times when you feel rejected or misunderstood, and that's okay. Not every interaction will lead to a deep bond, but every effort chips away at the wall of loneliness. The more you put yourself out there, the more you'll discover that you're not as alone as you once thought. Taking action toward connection is about reclaiming your sense of belonging. It's about reminding yourself that even in moments of loneliness, there's a community out there waiting to welcome you. The first step is yours to take. Reach out, engage, and let connection find its way back into your life. Staying consistent and patient with yourself is a vital part of dealing with loneliness. It involves recognizing that overcoming feelings of isolation isn't something that happens overnight, but rather through steady effort and commitment over time. Consistency helps build habits that foster connection, whether it's engaging in social activities, practicing self-care, or simply reaching out to others. When you decide to tackle loneliness, set realistic expectations. Understand that building meaningful relationships takes time. Don't expect immediate results. Instead, focus on the small steps you take each day toward connecting with others. For example, if you join a club or attend an event, don't be discouraged if you don't click with someone right away. Keep showing up, because consistency is key. Practice mindfulness and gratitude. Combine mindfulness exercises with gratitude practices to enhance emotional well-being and clarity. Starting each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for can set a positive tone that supports resilient thinking. Engage in activities that foster connection. Join clubs or attend events where you might meet like-minded people. This action helps build confidence in social interactions while challenging the idea that you're incapable of forming meaningful relationships. Consistency also means being patient with yourself during setbacks. Acknowledge progress, not perfection. Celebrate small victories along the way, whether it's having a good conversation at an event or simply feeling more confident around others. Instead of focusing solely on what hasn't worked yet, acknowledge every step forward as progress toward your goal. By staying consistent and patient, you empower yourself against self-doubt, because when faced with uncertainty, you have an inner compass guiding decisions based on what truly matters most. It's not just about finding others. It's also about fostering positive relationships where mutual respect thrives. Ultimately, staying consistent means transforming potential energy within you into kinetic energy, driving progress toward realizing personal aspirations. To integrate this habit seamlessly into daily routines, create a routine that supports connection. Set aside specific times each week for activities aimed at building connections, whether it's calling friends, joining online communities, or attending local events. Consistency in these routines sends a message to yourself. I am committed to this change. Stay committed, even during busy days. Even if life gets hectic, find moments, even brief ones, for quick actions toward connection throughout the day. For instance, taking deep breaths while imagining desired outcomes can be done anywhere: in traffic, during breaks at work, or even while walking. 3. Focus on continuous learning and growth. Stay adaptable by embracing lifelong learning, a trait common among those who prioritize knowledge acquisition over complacency. By adopting these strategies effectively, you cultivate an unshakable belief in your own abilities, a hallmark of resilience against loneliness. This approach transforms how you handle challenges. Instead of seeing problems as insurmountable barriers, you begin viewing them as stepping stones toward realizing your vision. By adopting these strategies effectively, you empower yourself against loneliness while cultivating an unshakable belief in your own abilities. It's about taking control of your emotional state and refusing to let isolation define you. When you actively reset your mindset, you transform loneliness into an opportunity for growth, self-discovery, and resilience. Let's rise above mediocrity together. Let's show everyone around us that we too can harness this powerful tool used by some of the world's most resilient individuals. By resetting our mindset, we unlock the potential within ourselves that's been waiting patiently to be unleashed. It's about turning inward to find strength, then reaching outward to build meaningful connections. So here's what I challenge you today. Take control over how you feel and act. Believe in your own strength. Know your worth deeply. Remember, dealing with loneliness isn't just about finding others. It's about fostering positive relationships where mutual respect thrives. Thank you.